entertaining week. Wednesday, we scored 107 and won by 2. Today, I was so impressed with NC State. Their skill level, their defense, you know, they jumped on us early, their intensity and their ability to score the ball at a very high level. The coaches obviously were not surprised about it. I don't think our players were, but we did not respond well enough early in the game. But as the half wore on, I thought we did a much better job of not only defending but scoring off of our defensive stops. And so we're down 9 at the half. We come out very focused in the second half, buried 2 threes. They come back, call a timeout, and go ahead by 8 again. It seesaws back and forth. So the way I look at it, that was a very entertaining college game. 2 teams playing at a very high level. And, you know, we were very, very fortunate to be the one that came out on top.
Questions?
Can you talk about Harlan Beverly came in and really talk about what he did for you guys in the second half?
You know, we're trying still to figure out, you know, our rotation. I know by this time, I'd love for it to be just absolutely settled, but, you know, based on what you need at the time, each of our players provides something a little different. And the reason we put Harlan in the first half was we were hoping that his size might be able to contain Joyner, because he was able to get to the basket and shoot over us initially. And so Harlan's a little bit bigger and just as athletic, so that worked in the first half. And then Bensley Joseph came in the second half and just did a fantastic job. He exhausted himself guarding Smith. And so late in the game, or not even late in the game, but you know, midway through the second half, when Bensley I thought needed a rest, we put Harlan on Smith, and he did a terrific job. And then he obviously hit that huge 3, and he got a steal, and led to a fast break, and led to 2 free throws by Nigel Pack. So he had a great game. But I told the players afterwards, we had a number of MVPs tonight. I thought Harlan and Bensley at the defensive end, and I thought Jordan and Isaiah at the offensive end were really terrific.
How crucial are the transition points and also the interior points in the paint?
Well, you know, when you talk about points in the paint, there's a lot of different ways to do it. What NC State was doing was they were posting up DJ Burns. He's a big fella, and he can really score the ball, and he did. At our end, we did it with driving layups. Jordan Miller getting to the rim, Isaiah getting to the rim. And either way, scoring in the paint has to be a part. Can't be all you do. It's got to be a part. That's why we trailed at the half. We were only 1 for 9 from 3. I don't know what we ended up, but we made several really critical 3-pointers, especially the first 2 coming out of the gate in the second half. Nigel made a 3, and then, was it Jordan? Isaiah made, Isaiah made the 3. So when you start clicking, guys start feeling good, and you give a little bit more attention to your defense.
Coach, your team scored 46 points in the second half, only 34 in the first half. What adjustments did you make offensively at halftime?
We got the ball to the right guy at the right time. You know, Jordan Miller and Isaiah Wong. There's no big secret. We are recognizing, like we ran a play so Jordan could drive it baseline. He did that twice and scored. We run a series of things for Isaiah. And then even Nigel, the reason he made that first 3, that play was for him. We're trying to get him going. And he's really good at that. So he made the shot that jump-started us.
Can you talk a little more about Jordan Miller? I mean, he did certain things really well last year. This year he seems to be just have a real complete game this year. What's he doing this year, in this game in particular?
You know, the thing about having a smart player like Jordan Miller, he really provides you what your team needs. And it's very timely. So last year, he did all the things he was being asked to do. This year, when I met with him, he wanted to expand his role, and I told him, we're going to not only expand your role, but you need to be a major force at the offensive end. So a lot of the things we do, we called a play for him, and they did a good job of not letting him catch the ball. But when he has it in his hands, he knows we have the utmost confidence in him as coaches and as teammates for him to make good decisions, and he did that.
Coach, can you describe the energy in the building today? I saw you pumping up the crowd about 10 minutes
Oh, the
ago.
crowd was
That
great.
was
The
really good
students,
today, yeah.
hey, anybody know anybody notice the fat heads?
Yeah.
A lot of
Did you
fun.
notice the fat heads? That's what we need. We need the students to be involved and feel like they're connected to the players. And the fat heads are the things that connect them. Because when the players look over there and they see their picture, this gigantic head of Norshad or whoever else was out there. How many were out there? How many players had their big head
There
out?
were at
They
least
have one
five.
for every single player.
Yeah.
They had one for every single player. I didn't see them all, but I saw several. And that's what you call creating energy. Right? It gets the students connected. We are, as a basketball program, very inclusive. We met with Category 5 before the season, invited them to practice, and had chicken wings and pizza afterwards for them, so that they realize and they know we value their presence at the game and their support for what we do. And we want to know we're going to support your efforts, because, hey, that's what school spirit is. I said it one time, somebody got mad at me for saying it. I said, the things you remember most, and I want us to educate is the most important thing when you go to college, but the thing you remember most, a lot of times is not in the classroom. It's some event, it's some happening, it's something you did with your friends. In the classroom you're there to study and get an education. And okay, you can say it's fun to learn. I love learning. But for most kids, they can't wait to get to the beach or go to a sporting event or watch a game on TV, and every once in a while they might have a beer. So, that kind of spirit is really what every college athletic team wants. You want your fans to come out and cheer you on. It makes you feel like what you're doing is worthwhile. And our students and our fan base have been great. And I think it'll grow. I expect it to grow. We have some big games coming up. We've got Virginia, who's the number 3 ranked team in the country, coming in here in 10 days. A week from Tuesday. All right? So on the 20th of December, hopefully the word will get out. Hey, we need to support the Hurricanes basketball team.
I want to follow up on that. How important was that in those moments where you guys closed to 2? I think 6 times in a row you closed to 2. How important was that energy to get you guys over that hump?
Yeah, you can't do it without that. There's a time in the game, because players play so hard, that you are very drained. And it's very hard to generate it yourself. You need some inspirational coach to say some incredible words that make you rise. Today, I said nothing. But the crowd said everything. Because they are cheering wildly for you. And that's what the players know. They know they're here to cheer us on to victory. And they did.
One last thing on the crowd. This increase of the student section, because I've been covering this team a long time, there's always been a lot of efforts. Do you think it's piggybacking on your Elite 8, or is it something that Category 5 has done specifically this year to get that many students out there?
Well, I'm certainly not an expert on how and why students choose to come to games. I will say this, that Category 5 has done an incredible job. Our pep band, the pep band is bigger and playing. Our cheerleaders and dance team have been really into it now. With the Elite 8 run and those cheerleaders and dance team going to the Elite 8 and how much fun they had, and then them passing the words to the other students, man, you really need to follow the men's basketball team, it's great. Category 5 for sure is doing it with the fraternities, the sororities, the student body, and our administration. We've had great support from our administration. We've increased a number of things that have been very helpful. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about them,
Yes, you are. Come on.
but the financial support has been there, and that makes you feel good. right? Someone says, hey, we're gonna take a small charter plane that has 30 seats and everybody's gotta sit in a coach class seat and, you know, your knees are gonna be up at your chest and, but it's good, it's a charter. Or compared to a 140 passenger plane with first class seating and everybody's got their own row and you get off the plane, you feel big time. Boy, that was first class. And when you have that kind of financial support that sends the message to the team, to our players, to our coaches, like, hey, this is important to the university. And that's what's happening. There's a lot of support for us.
We'll do two more questions, we'll go to Chris and then Cal.
Coach, you talked about rotations, trying to get that in order. Can you maybe expand on that and maybe what do you anticipate it being like moving forward? Because we did see other guys too, I know you mentioned a couple, just like Christian and AJ, the whole thing.
Yeah, I debate with my staff all the time. We've got a really good starting six. Bensley is really like a starter. And then to add a guy, Anthony Walker is the first front court guy, Bensley's the first backcourt guy, and then we've added AJ, so that gives us an eighth, and he's basically gonna sub for Norshad at this moment. That can change. And then we need another guy, a guy who can sub for Wooga and give him some quality rest. And I tried Chris, and he did a nice job. I got no complaints with the minutes he played. But the game requires matchups. And when I decided in the second half, when we decided we were going to bring in Harlan, it was because in the first half, when I put him on Joyner, he did such a good job, probably in maybe 2 minutes of playing time. But those 2 minutes sent a message to me that, hey, he can guard that guy. And then in the second half, when we saw what Bensley was doing, denying and pressuring and keeping Quavion from catching it easily, Benz was exhausting himself, so we decided, hey, we'll go with Harlan to now do that to him. And Isaiah over to Joyner, and thank goodness it worked.
Last question from Cal.
I wanted to ask about Joyner. 26 points, 16 in the second half. What were some of the problems that he was giving you, and why did you go to Capricorn?
We held him to 26. I think he had 29 the other day.
Yeah.
We held him 3 points below his weekly average. No, he's a pro. It's like an NBA point guard. He's got toughness and ball skills and shooting ability, and he's a great player. He and Quavion Smith, they're as good as it gets in college basketball at the 1-2. They both can play the 1, they both can play the 2, they both shoot threes, they're both great going to the basket. They play really hard at the defensive end of the floor. I told our guards, this is a guard's game. We need Nigel, Zay, Wooga, Bensley, turns out Harlan with the key, but they're guards. And you gotta guard those guys or they're gonna score. What did Smith have?
19.
How
He only
many?
had 3 in the second half.
19.
He only had 3 in the second half.
Yeah, but he had 16 and a half and it could. I mean, I think in the next game they could do the same thing. They could have 25 and 20 or 30 and 30. I mean, that's how good they are. No, but it's hard to win in the ACC because, you know what? Everybody is good. There are no easy games, and you got to play great. I watched them play Pittsburgh, and I thought Pittsburgh did a magnificent job on them.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.